seen now a deadly force being used against some of these rebel militant groups, these terror organizations, because of their brazen attacks on ships in the Red Sea. Are we expecting to see more of that, especially in light of this recent explosion?
Well, first of all, thanks very much for having me. And as you highlight, this has become a real threat in this incredibly vital waterway, this international waterway through which 10 to 15% of global commerce and trade transit on any given day. And so it's very important that the international community come together and address this international problem. We have no indications right now that the Houthis are going to cease these attacks. Certainly, it's important that they stop immediately, which is one reason why you saw the international community, to include the United States, stand up Operation Prosperity Guardian as a mechanism by which to come together as a defensive coalition to help protect and safeguard international commerce transiting this seaway. As well as to help protect the lives of international mariners as they traverse the Red Sea.
A couple quick questions here. You mentioned Operation Prosperity Guardian. Iran now has warships in the Red Sea. How does that change or complicate this particular mission?
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of reporting on this, and it's important to understand that those ships, those Iranian ships, have been there for a while. Obviously, Iran has interests in the region. They transit international waterways just like we do. So that in and of itself is not new. Clearly, we're keeping an eye on those vessels. But right now, it's just something that we're keeping an eye on. Pending any malign activity. It's nothing that we're overly focused on at the moment.
Right. But I mean, Iran clearly has its eyes on not only Israel and what happens there in regards to the Hamas conflict, but also the U.S. response to it. So at what level would you say American troops are at risk in the Red Sea and elsewhere throughout the Middle East?
Well, the primary threat right now in the Red Sea is, again, against international commerce. You've had over 55 nations affected by these Houthi attacks. Now, of course, Iran has sponsored Houthi rebels for a very long time in terms of training, providing equipment, funding. And so certainly we know that there's a strong relationship between Iran and the Houthi rebels. And we know that Iran and other places, to include Iraq and Syria, has essentially green-lighted their proxy groups to conduct these kinds of attacks. So again, Iran could stop these kinds of things, but in the meantime, the international community is going to come together. We're going to help to safeguard international shipping that's transiting the Red Sea. We're going to do everything we can to help provide that deterrent effect in terms of presence. And the last thing I'd say on this is it's important to understand that the Houthis are not just attacking any one nation. They are attacking the international community. And so we're going to continue to work together to help reassure international shipping and protect the lives of mariners.
We're actually showing video of when there were rebels that actually jumped on board a ship and took that ship captive, or at least took its crew captive. There are some scary images that Americans and people around the world are watching. But I have to ask you about this recent reporting about depletion of our missile storehouses. Can you just clarify for those watching at home? There are reports that because of our assistance in the war between Ukraine and Russia, because of continued support of Israel, that we ourselves are not fully stocked in terms of missiles. Our allies are seeing a depletion, and that it will take years to build that back up. Where do we stand in terms of defense?
Yeah, well, let me make one thing abundantly clear right up front. The United States will always put its readiness before other priorities. And so the United States military is ready to conduct our operations and meet our national security commitments worldwide right now. So there's no need to be concerned about that. Certainly, in supporting Ukraine, we have worked very closely with over 50 nations to ensure they have what they need on the battlefield to defend themselves. And that does have an impact on stocks of munitions around the world. And so as part of that effort, we've been working very closely with the acquisition and sustainment leaders for all of these nations to work together to ensure that industry can support the requirements to help sustain and ensure that stockpiles are at the levels that they need to be. So, bottom line is the United States of America is going to be ready. But we again are not going to rest on our laurels. We're going to continue to work with industry to make sure that stockpiles are kept at the levels needed to ensure we can meet all of our security requirements.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.